Good morning and welcome to day 3 of my tour of Colombia in 2024. We're here in Salamina where we've stayed overnight. We've had a lovely breakfast here in the hotel, and then we went to try a local delicacy, which is eggs made with an espresso machine. If it sounds a bit weird, take a look at my Instagram. I put a video of it up on there. But yeah, it tastes delicious, especially when you stir in a load of butter. Anyway, we're about to set off. You can just about see the basilica behind me. Today is a spa day, so we're heading from here to Manizales, and then from there we're going to stop at a hot springs for a couple of hours. I did wonder if it was a pool by the side of the road, but I think it is actually like a spa, so it really is a spa day. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to head up higher and higher up to Murillo for the night tonight. So yeah, looking forward to another great day on the bikes. And off we go. Heading out for day 3. It's a bit humid here, even though the sun's trying to peek through. You can just about see the mist and the cloud across the mountains on the other side. So yeah, should be a good day. We're riding out of Salamina, and I thought we might be going over the tops, like we went to see the palm trees yesterday, if you saw the end of my video from day 2. But instead we've basically dropped and we're riding along the side of the mountain. I can see just how steeply sided it is, which sort of explains why it was so steep to get up to the top, like to the very top yesterday. It's just a glorious road though, and as a way to start the day, just gliding and cruising around these bends through the rainforest is just glorious. And then every now and again you get these glimpses, you know, through the mountains, and you get to see just how far up we are above the valley bottom, which I honestly can't even see down there. So I've been riding for about an hour, about halfway to Manizales. Just had a quick stop, didn't have a coffee because it doesn't feel like we've been riding long enough. Now it's been just over an hour, and we did have a double breakfast. So we have about an hour to go now before our spa break, which should be fun. It's a bit overcast. We haven't had the blue skies that we had yesterday morning, but it's dry and the road is dry unless there's been a river that's been running across it. And the scenery continues to be quite cool. You know, we're going up and down these mountains, lots of very, very twisty roads, as you can see. And as I've been riding, I've been contemplating the acquisition of a small capacity air-cooled dirt bike when I get home. So we're in Manizales now, in town. Haven't really done any city driving since we got here, so I thought I'd show you a little bit of what it's like. It's a weekday today. Everyone kind of rides pretty tight, but it's all quite controlled. There's quite a big awareness of motorcycles. It doesn't feel particularly stressful to ride in here, despite how it might appear. You just got to keep your wits about you. So this was a spa day, and I wasn't joking. So we've just pulled into this spa. This is where we will be spending a few hours to, you know, ease our aching bones. So we've stopped in Manizales for a bit of lunch, and we're here at a thermal spa. You can see the guys behind me enjoying the hot water here. It's quite nice to have a spa break when you're on a motorcycle trip. So we're going to be here for about an hour or so, have a bit of lunch. It's at the Termales Terra, Viva, and then we're going to carry on and head up to Murillo. So yeah, not the hardest riding day today, but at least there's some hot water to ease all the pains from the previous days. So we've had our little spa break in Manizales, and we're now heading out. Now the very first bit of this afternoon's ride is the main road between Manizales and Bogota, which unfortunately means it's going to be busy. Means to an end. It's about the first bit of sort of busy main road we've had to deal with so far, so I'm sure it'll be fine. But it's quite a relief is that it's completely opened up and brightened up. All the way up the hill we were in some quite dense clouds, and now suddenly up here I can see all around. It's much more fun riding like this. It's also warmed up a lot because there isn't that damp air anymore. So we've just paused for a moment by this lake called the Black Lake, Laguna Negra, which you can see behind me. Thought it would be an opportunity to leave a pink motorcycle sticker on the sign. Let's see if it's there when I come back next time. But yeah, we've climbed up to 3,700 metres. It's a nature reserve, and while we don't exactly have blue skies, it has brightened up a lot, and you can actually see some of the scenery. Now, if you look over my shoulder, probably can't see them here, there's these plants that are kind of a bit like, I guess, cactuses with like a sort of a yellowish top. Now, they suck a lot of water out of the air and apparently actually push water into the ground. There's going to be a lot of them on the next bit of the ride, as we climb higher and higher. Right now, nothing more than 60 kilometers an hour seems possible, and that's pretty much 8,000 revs in third gear. The air's also dried out quite a lot, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, we're going to carry on. I'll show you a little bit more of this part of Colombia. So I just left Laguna Negra and we're heading up higher into the national park. So I think we're going to top 4,000 meters, maybe slightly higher. One of the things that Ruben mentioned was these plants. I don't know if you can see them up here on the left, just against the sky. They look like sort of maybe tree trunks with a little spiky plant sticking out at the top. Apparently they're very common here at high elevations when a lot of the taller, bigger plants don't grow. And we're going to get whole landscapes just full of them. And apparently they just pull a lot of moisture from the air. They pull moisture from the air and apparently even pass it out through the roots. They can actually hydrate the soil when it gets dry, but there is moisture in the air. Give you a few looks at this as we go along. As you can see, that is in fourth gear is a bit optimistic. Third gear with the throttle pinned, it will get up to 60, but no more. So as you can see, the mist has come down. We've come over the top. It's more than 4,000 meters elevation up here. Certainly feels pretty cold. The landscape has changed quite a lot. I'll try and take some riding video, but with the mist it's kind of hard to see, certainly behind me. But if I turn around this way, hopefully you can see a bit more what it's like. So it's now this sort of black volcanic rock, more like the sort of thing I've seen in Iceland, I guess. And after everything has been so green and lush at lower elevations, to suddenly see this and the waterfalls and everything that goes with it really is pretty cool. Apparently the colours are fabulous on a bright sunny day. We just don't have that today, but still it's quite a cool place to visit, especially with all of this sort of volcanic geology around us. We're going to set off again shortly. I'm not sure how much riding footage I'll film of this, just because with the fog and mist it could be anywhere, but hopefully this gives you a bit of an inkling about what some of this is like. So just stopped at the volcanic waterfall. Going to carry on down. The mist, if anything, is getting a bit thicker, so I'm not sure how much of this landscape and scenery you can actually pick out. Every now and again you get a clear bit through the mist, so I thought I'd run the cameras and at least you might get a few glimpses. I'll be coming back and doing this ride again in 2025, probably in February, so at least I'll have a chance to maybe see it under different conditions, although because of the elevation and the fact that it's just you know, there's moisture that blows in from time to time, is that quite often it is cloudy like this. It's less common to have blue skies and clear visibility up here, but still it is a dramatic landscape. The bits that I can see, if you look to my left, we can see that ridge and the mist just blowing over it. And suddenly in here, even though we can see cloud on all sides, the road and everything above it, we're not in cloud anymore. I guess it's we're between two different cloud banks. Can't really get close enough to the edge on the left to show you that landscape. But yeah, oh, there we go. There's a bit of a glimpse down and also up to the right. It's quite, what would describe this? Atmospheric. I suppose any weather is atmospheric. But yeah, it's sort of unusual flora to what we get at home. But then this quite sort of barren landscape. Looks a bit like Iceland, but if you think only an hour or so ago we were riding through jungle and equatorial rainforest or cloud forest, and I think that's one of the big appeals to me in Colombia, is that you really do get this massive diversity within a relatively short distance that you don't really get elsewhere in the world. So this tour is a fairly short distance ridden. I think we're only doing about 1,200 kilometers across the 6 days, might even be slightly less. But the variety that we get from this, you know, the highs and the lows, really is something else. I don't know if you can see this, but this really is quite incredible, with all of those plants sort of growing up, sucking moisture out of the air. So it's got a little bit brighter for a moment or two, especially looking up there, even though the clouds are kind of drifting up. Wow, now it looks like we're coming down the other side, and again we have this clear bit, sort of a glimpse down the valley there to my left, and just opens up a lot between the clouds. It's such a brilliant road, and this Onco barrier they're putting looks brand new. I'm sure it's slightly precipitous before that, but now this is just amazing. I mean, we've not really seen any big traffic up here. There's been a couple of cars, tourists. I guess most of the other traffic goes the long way round. It's a weekday here as well, so I think that means that we even minimise the the tourist traffic that might be coming through. But this landscape really is very cool indeed. I am getting cold though, like proper cold, so maybe descending is quite nice. Just had a stop at the top and tried a few of the local delicacies, a little bit of coca tea, you know, to get the heart rate up. And then we had some, there's a bit like soup with like a very sort of soft halloumi tasting, sort of slightly squeaky but a little bit softer than halloumi cheese. And we've come out and I've got this amazing view out across this landscape. Pay attention to the road, but hopefully you can see some of this. And you've got the colours, you've got the yellow from the sulphur peeking out from the rocks. You've got this really nice road surface, in fact just as a road to ride on. It's actually pretty fun. And there's sort of everything from sort of greens and greys in the rock as well as in the plants themselves as we descend on this side towards Murillo. The road itself looks like one of those roads you see advertising anything to do with motorbikes. You know, it's just this lovely tarmac, it's twisty. There is a barrier here as well, which is kind of nice. In fact, you can see the clouds up there. I guess that's what we were in earlier. There's a bit of a whiff of sulphur in the air. I guess that's what a lot of this yellow is in the rocks. But yeah, a really cool place to ride. Completely different to anything we've seen so far. Now you're still following this road, which has really been just carved through these rocks, which is really cool. I guess there's not a lot of space to put a road. So where there wasn't enough flat land, they literally just cut through the rock to make the road. I mean, I guess it must be a road for tourism, as there are other ways around to do this. But yeah, just with this landscape and the rocks and everything, it really is quite remarkable. So that has been a pretty crazy ride down. Fun though, it's definitely warmed up a bit as well. Not warm, but just warmer than it was at the top. So just coming into the town of Murillo, the pearl of the north, as the road sign decreed as I came in. The scenery is looking a little bit like yesterday again, so there's a lot more sort of cows and things. We've moved away from that sort of volcanic landscape. The hills are still a little bit more open, but the road surface and the quality of the road has been excellent. I don't know if it's new or if there's any other reason why this has been, you know, just that good. We've had roads like this in other places, but then you suddenly get to a bit that's just dirt. Maybe it's drier and they've not had the same number of landslips, which has been a problem in other places. Having said that, it really is cracking fun to ride down. Town square in Murillo, it's certainly less grand than some of the other places that we've stayed, but it's also a much bigger square. This appears to be where we're stopping. That was just a quick look at the market square. The hotel's just a minute down the road here. And there are arrows painted on the ground pointing the wrong way. I wonder if we're going the wrong way down a one-way street. But still, never mind. Apparently the local brew here is brandy and milk. So looking forward to that. I think this is us. So that is it. That is the end of day 3. We're here in the town of Murillo. We can see the volcano in the distance. And yeah, it's kind of quiet compared to the other places we've been, but looking forward to probably having a lot of meat for dinner. There seems to be a lot of these dogs around that are very friendly. They all look very well kept and have got their claws clipped and stuff. So I'm guessing they're not exactly wild. They do look extremely well fed, but then having had a look at all the meat on the menu here, maybe that's not all that surprising. Anyway, I hope that's been interesting and useful. If it has been, please check out my videos from the other days. Hopefully I'll get around to editing them all. Thanks for watching.